This is going to be video number 2. I've got it stripped down. I know that in the past I've kind of left you guys out of what I did specifically to stretch this. I took the bodywork off and I looked very, very carefully at where everything was. I considered stretching the back, and then I considered stretching the front. The back on this Can-Am, the rear suspension uses the transmission case or the back of the engine as a stress member. And there's just about as much electronics back here as there is in the front. So all the electronics sat here in front of the steering column, but there were brackets that I could unbolt, so I moved all of the electronics back behind the steering stem, and I'm probably going to stretch this thing somewhere in the order of 25 to 30 inches in length. The frame on this is a rectangle tube, so it's probably going to get cut here and down here at the bottom. Of course, this drive shaft will have to be cut and extended the equal length, and the way it's laid out, it only has one U-joint in it right now. It just kind of comes down to a V. Well, that's not going to be possible when I stretch this thing out 25 or 30 inches. I'm probably going to have to cut it here and incorporate another U-joint. So I'll have a U-joint there, and I'll have a U-joint there, and then this will be 25 to 30 inches longer. And in front of this splitter for the front brake, or for the rear brake, because this is a master cylinder that the handlebar, where it is, the handlebar brake was for rear, and there's a foot pedal on the footwell side over there. I'm not going to use the footwell brake. I'm going to use only the handles. And the frame's going to get cut right behind the pivot point for the bottom A-arms. It's going to get cut there. This will all get moved out of the road, and I'll do a nice neat cut. And then I'm sure I'm not going to be able to go out and buy this rectangle tube. Probably what I'll end up doing is building it out of square tube. I'll just split the sides out on one side and then plate the top and the bottom. And then it'll get some triangulation bracing in it too. And I don't think I'm going to have to do anything with the brake cables. The brake cables are all going to stay with the front end and move forward, because of course the pedals, the foot pedals, are going to be right behind this left front tire. The one thing I brought up to my son was every time I get unlucky, the CV clutch and secondary are on this side of the bike. Everything else I've ever done, they've always been on the opposite side, but the exhaust has always been on this side. So the exhaust doesn't have to be stretched or anything. The only problem is I'm going to be sitting right by the damn exhaust. I mentioned to him about putting it on the other side, but then it looked like some kind of European thing with the driver on the right-hand side. But I'll just do some shielding here and put some heat shielding in. And when I build my tunnel, I'm going to make the tunnel so that plenty of air can pass through this thing and cool the engine and everything. There was a lot of plastic on the bike itself. I'm going to use the existing plastic. It's all piled over there. But I will exo cage around it so that bashing rocks and trees and all that, the body's never going to be exposed to anything. It'll just be the metal exo cage that's going to be exposed to it. But I'm on a roll here. Taylor helped me out a little bit. But it's stripped down here. And I get it up on jack stands and get it cut, and yeah, get whatever metal I need to extend the length. And we're on to the next one. I'll catch you then.